Welcome to Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we got a special guest, Yohan Jacob, the president of Retailbound.com. Welcome, Johan. One more thing. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you and enjoy. Thank you for joining us today, Johan. I'm really happy that you could make it. What we want to find out today is because entrepreneurs has a story to tell. Every entrepreneur has some discipline or extremes in their lives, and we want to find out the pattern. And we want to hear your story today, how you got from the humble beginnings to success. So where did you grow up, or where you were born? How did the story begin for you?
Oh, we might need more than 30 minutes, my friend. But so I was born. I was born here in New York and raised in Illinois or Chicago.
Okay.
I grew up in a family of business executives. Both my parents were in business, and I enjoyed watching them succeed. While in grade school and high school, I played competitive tennis. And did that for a long time. I thought when I graduate high school or college, I'd be a professional tennis player. Unfortunately, after a few months on the road, realized I'm not that good. Thought maybe I make it a real job. So I got my MBA here in Chicago, and decided to work as a manufacturer.
Okay.
Selling products to retailers of different shapes and sizes. And this is back in the early 90s, before the internet or before Google. And I can probably admit that I probably made more than my fair share of mistakes, because there's really no one like a Retailbound helping me, guiding me, maybe even doing the work. But I spent a couple of years on the road selling products to both to retailers and distributors. And it took me some time, but I wasn't successful. But it cost me time, effort, and money, right?
Okay.
Then I decided, no, this is a good job. I want something different, a bigger challenge. So I jumped to the other side of the desk and became a very, very large retail merchant for two different billion-dollar retailers in the U.S. The retail buyer, I worked with some of the big brands like Sony and Samsung and Microsoft and Dell. But I also worked with a lot of entrepreneurs or startups. And I could tell, like a job interview, which brands were ready, especially smaller brands, were ready to work with me, and which ones weren't. The ones that weren't ready to work with me waste their time, waste my time, and don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And as a retail buyer, I probably took the phone more often than my peers, because I know, a lot of young brands that don't have a connection to a buyer. They're cold calling, they're cold email, they're doing the trade show thing, and it's tough to try to get a mind share of a customer or a decision maker. So I did my best to reach out, to follow up on cold calls or emails more than my peers, because I was a manufacturer first. So I know how hard it is to talk to a buyer at Apple or Costco or Best Buy. So, like I said, when I did pick up the phone, I could tell which ones who were ready to work with me and which ones weren't. After this for a couple of years as a merchant, I was traveling internationally. And I saw a movie called A Bucket List, back in the mid 2000s with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. I was like, I don't know bucket list. And I'm in my early 30s. So while at the airport, I took a piece of paper and wrote down things I want to do, like get married, have a couple of kids, travel the world, and so forth. One thing was to write a book. What should I write about, right? And I was thinking, wait, what about retail? I mean, I have a unique background than most merchants, because I've been on both sides of the desk. So I wrote a book in the summer of 2006 called Retailbound. Learn how to sell products to retailers. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and other booksellers.
I need to get that one. I need to get that one.
In about 14 years, we have sold well over 20,000 copies around the world.
Okay.
So not bad for a guy who can't read or write. So I literally quit my job many years ago and started coming from scratch at Retailbound. which is a retail solutions agency that helps innovative brands scale in retail. So in essence, we help young brands get retail ready. So develop their marketing strategy, their sales strategy. We have 200 sales reps and 4 distributors, and our team helps the brand get into retail here in North America, both brick and mortar, online, catalog, TV direct response, and special retail. And then after they're in retail, our job is act as their channel marketing manager in managing their business and driving sales. But
Okay.
that's my story about how I started. Basically, was a tennis player. Realized I couldn't make it as a tennis player, so I had to get a real job. Got my master's,
Why you didn't do it
and
as a
yeah,
tennis player? Why you didn't do it as a tennis player? What was the reason? Because normally, if you are already set for the way, then it's good. For me, for example, I'm just telling you an example. For when I'm professional sports, I was already too old. I was in an amateur career at 33 years old. I made
mm,
it to 36, and then I got tired. So that's it.
sure, sure.
So that's and
Most
how was it for you?
for most tennis players, the average age is in the early 20s, right? They start to peak around
Yeah,
26,
exactly,
and by the time they're
exactly,
30, they're ready to retire, right?
exactly.
And my parents really believed in education first. So, like some of my peers whose grades weren't that great, I spent time studying and
Okay,
getting good grades. Also I got a full ride scholarship in tennis. I was able to graduate on time with honors, and I was able to go to graduate school and graduate with honors as well. But I realized, at my age, or my ability, I wasn't at that level. I had to put more time in to do with school and tennis and your personal life.
yeah,
It's too
that's
much. And
yeah.
today, right now, why I run a very successful global retail consulting company. I do find time a couple hours a week in teaching tennis. I actually am a certified tennis pro or tennis instructor, and
Okay,
I teach a couple hours a week more because I want to, not because I need to. I like probably like you, I like to give back.
exactly. It's that.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. For the last 20 years teaching tennis, to adults and children.
Oh, that's it. Well, great. It's not just that you did the sport; you're as well teaching. That's amazing. Unfortunately, I have the time. I don't have the time at the moment to do the same. I managed like 1 hour per day of training, but I'm sure you find as well a little bit of training time. So what I'm as well interested in, when you were in school or high school, what was your strength in there? Where were you really like outstanding, and maybe teachers didn't even see it because you mentioned we not the best in school, but for example, you know,
So academically, I was pretty good. Business came natural to me, especially the software side, like marketing and business was a strength of mine, as well as art. Art to believe. I like to
oh,
draw, I like to paint,
okay,
the creative side. And when in high school, I wanted to go in advertising, but maybe do the creative side. And my
like
parents said, "Hey,
billboards, like
yeah,
billboards and stuff. Yeah.
billboards, TV commercials, magazine ads, right? And maybe get an art degree,
Okay.
or versus a business degree." And my parents said, "Listen, it's either you can draw and be creative, but get a business degree, right? And then when you're in a client, then you always can draw." And as a retail buyer, as a merchant, they say retailing is a art and a science. You
Yes.
know, the buyers, like myself, we were artists, right? Trying to build something out of nothing. Where the inventory planners who reported us, they're the scientists. How much inventory you need, where's the right stores to put the inventory in. So that creative side, the art side really helped me be successful as a retail buyer back in the day.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. That's already very interesting because when you look at the skills at the skill set, you can see already from the beginning that there is something growing out. So, and when was the first time that you like feel, okay, I got something in my hands here. I'm flipping something. I can make something work, maybe in sales, because I see that you're very good in sales. That you, as well, your business is largely based on sales. So maybe there was something in the beginning that you say, wow, oh, that's it, I really can do this.
Sure. So in graduate school, I took a HR, human resource elective called Work-Life Balance, and in that class, there was an exam called a Myers-Briggs test, basically based on your personality. Are you extrovert, introvert? Are you self-motivated? Things like that. What are the right careers for you, right? It was, things like being a policeman was not a fit for me. Being a scientist was not for me, or a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Things like athlete, store manager, entrepreneur. There's certain things that, according to this test, basically, said, hey, that being an entrepreneur or something in sales, as a, honestly, I started my career in sales, and then even as a retail buyer, as a merchant, you're still selling, right? Because
Yes.
you're selling your ideas to senior management. Hey, I really think this cup would do great at Walmart, right? And your boss says no. So you're trying to sell your idea to your boss, saying, "Hey, I really think this is the cup we want to sell at Walmart, right?" So selling, we'll be selling to manufacturers, selling to retailers, selling internally. You're always selling your ideas. So
Sure.
yeah, I think I've been fortunate having that sales aptitude. But no, I said, I mean, I've enjoyed since grade school. So
Okay. Okay. Since grade. Wow. Okay. That's pretty far back as well. So yeah.
yeah, my first job, while I was probably 12 years old, was a paper boy. Back when we had newspapers, right? I
Yes.
used to, roll up the papers, but I also sell subscriptions.
Okay.
And so at age 12 years old, I'm selling newspapers to the neighbors. Little fun fact, by the way, I was 13 years old, and on my paper route, I found $500 cash on the
Wow.
street. Now, most kids say, wow, $500, I can buy some comic books, I can buy some candy. Being the honest guy that I am, I actually turned the money into the police.
Yeah.
It's not my money, it's someone else's money, right?
Exactly.
Go and claim the money. So in 6 months, I got the money. I got the money myself. I was actually written up in my local town as a hero of the year. So I actually got a certificate in my in our library. But yeah, that $500 that I found, I actually bought my first TV in electronics, and that's what got me interested about electronics. So when I was a retail buyer, I was a buyer in electronics. So that's another thing that kind of got me interested in consumer electronics, because I found some money on the
Yeah.
streets,
Sure.
got it back 6 months later, and I bought my first large electronic purchase from that.
Okay. So yeah, that's as well a good story, because with the 500, you invested it as well in something.
So yeah, something that I enjoy, and so I've been in electronics as a sales manager, as a retail buyer, and as a consultant for nearly 30 years,
Oh,
right? And so obviously, me buying a large purchase, electronics kind of got me interested. Hey, wow, maybe I like being a buyer of TVs or
yeah.
video games or digital cameras. So I've been fortunate in my career to be around uh, consumer electronic manufacturers. This week is actually the Consumer Electronics Show.
Okay.
It's the first time in ever. It's a virtual show. So right now, our team is actually doing a show in Vegas.
Okay. Ah, that's yeah. But you are actually on there, right?
Yes, we're actually. I did a presentation earlier today for CES, and had a couple of meetings so far. Yeah, so it's a.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
that's
I've done this show for 23 years in a row. 22 physical, and this is our first year
yeah. It's the first
virtual.
year. Yeah, it's the first year virtual, because I've seen that you already your company started in back in 2006, when I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
the book was written 2006, and then I did some consulting while on the side while as a merchant, and then 2008 I said, I think I could do this full time, and yeah, quit my high paying job, and so we've been official since 2008, but unofficially since 2006 when the book was released.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, because this is as well something when people are switching from the normal job into the entrepreneurship. It's a tough stage, especially if you have children, if you have something going on. You obviously you're making, if you make already, like you said, because most of the people I know, when they make 125,000 a year, and they have everything benefits this and that, and they can fly around, and
Yeah.
and then they think about, you tell them about being an entrepreneur, they say, why should I do that? Or,
Yeah,
you know,
I wouldn't recommend. No, I did mine a little different, right? So, I was doing a couple hours here and there for about 2 years, because of the book. It was really the book I wrote was really inventors and moonlighters, right? People who had a full time job but want to create something on the side, and it was an hour here, an hour there. It's like taking a
okay,
private tennis lesson from me, right? An
okay,
hour there. It was. I call it fun money. It was
yeah,
gas money, right? It was going out to dinner money, right? It wasn't like
okay,
I could sustain a living, but honestly, it got to be tough. Having a full time job,
yes,
having wife and kids, doing playing, working out, and then doing this little part time consulting thing. And I realized, wow, if I'm gonna be a consultant or run my own business, I need to put my heart and soul into it.
sure,
And I realized that quitting a high paying job, right, a six-figure job with salary and benefits, I advise people not to do it sometimes because unless you have I had a savings, right? My
yeah,
wife didn't work; she's a stay-at-home mom, so I wouldn't recommend what I did. I have a mortgage and car payments, but I figured if I couldn't do it after a certain amount of time,
yes,
maybe I can get a job at Best Buy corporate or Amazon corporate. I knew that when I quit, I was at the peak, so I knew I could not say I could write my own ticket, but I knew that I could probably get a merchant job at any major retailer in the U.S. So I was only 2 words. So, but if I can do it right, let me put my heart and soul into it. And the first 30 to 45 days, no clients, right? It took some time, right, to kind of build that sales pipeline.
yeah,
Within 3 months, I landed 2 clients by myself and paid a small portion, wasn't nearly close to my salary. Within 6 months of doing this full time, I actually equaled my salary, which wow. Within 12 months from me quitting, I actually doubled my salary, and 13 years later, it's higher than that. So, but again, I said I guess I'm lucky that I'm good. I always say that the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? So I do work a lot of hours, like you do, Omar.
yeah,
But when I talk to uh, potential entrepreneurs, maybe they're a retail buyer. I talked to one today, and he's like, I'm thinking about quitting my job and being a consultant like you, Johan. I said, "Did your wife work?" Nope. Do you have any kids? Yep. Do you get a mortgage? Yep. So, well, unless you have something going, or you have an idea, or if you're gonna be a consultant, what's gonna make you different, right? And I said I wouldn't recommend that. I would say maybe try to do some things part time, and then maybe go full time. But no, I decided to take a leap of faith, and I got lucky, I guess. There are unfortunately some people who do quit their job, they start their business, and 1 to 5 years later, they're back to corporate America.
yeah, I understand. But what I always recommend people, they need to test themselves. Are you ready for that? Because
Yep.
if somebody in a normal job, 9 to 5, okay, he goes home at 5 o'clock on Friday and sits down and does nothing over the whole weekend, or
Yeah.
you cannot recommend him to do something, even if you say, yeah, I want to. No, you cannot. First, they need to show. They need to show that they really want it, and then they need to try. First of all, to the same salary they have, they should at least make half of it, of what they do, of the consultancy, what they do apart. So they need to invest as
Yep.
well after their office hours. They need to invest another 6 to 8 hours at home.
Yeah. There's one characteristic of if you want to be a good entrepreneur, the number one characteristic I look at is being self motivated, right?
Yeah.
Because when if you have your own company, no one's tapping in your shoulder. Okay, hey Omar, you got to do this. You got to be able to motivate yourself. And I know I asked my parents as a kid, how was I? And they said, you had your strengths and weaknesses, but one of the things that they never had to ask me is do your homework. I did my own homework, right? Or go play tennis. I practiced myself. No one pushed me harder than myself, right? We always say that, but uh, I as a kid, I was very self motivated. No one had to make me do my homework. No one had to make me go play tennis, right? No one made me write a book or start a business from scratch, right? So
Exactly.
um, so I think if you're gonna be if you think you want to be an entrepreneur, you ask yourself in the mirror, can I motivate myself? right? Without my real boss pushing me, right? Telling me, hey, Omar, get your report in, tomorrow at 2 o'clock, right? So I think being self motivated is probably one of the top characteristics of being a successful entrepreneur.
It's sure. And then we come as well to the next question. What actually does motivate you to do what you do? What is every day when you get up in the morning? I don't know what time, but most probably 5, 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, you know my schedule very well. I do get up early before to work out, but as you get older, right, your motivations change, right? I would say that what motivates me professionally is seeing my clients succeed. Right? I'm at LO where money is not a big deal. We make a very good living at Retailbound, but seeing our clients succeed, that means seeing our clients' product at a retail shelf, see it on air at QVC, see it online at Amazon, see it in print externally. That motivates me because now I'm helping another entrepreneur achieve their dreams, right? Because I work with mostly young product entrepreneurs and startups, and they hope they get a product into a Best Buy, a Target, an Apple, right? So when it is there on the shelf, 12 months, 18 months after we start, I'm as excited as they are. So wow, look at this. Their product is on the shelf that I saw, 6 months ago or 9 months ago. So that motivates me more than how much money I get paid each week, each month, each year.
Yeah, that's a very good reply. It's very different from what we hear normally, and very professional.
Well, if you're a salesperson, right? Your motivation is money. I mean, I interview salespeople. I ask, what motivates you? And they say, well, the job, the people, like whatever. Right? Pass. If you're a salesperson, money motivates you, right? For me, what motivates me is helping our clients, be successful. Now, as that's a consultant. Now, as an owner of a company, right? My goal is to, get as many clients as possible, right? And beat the competition. Because like all of us, I don't care if you're an American consultant or you're a retail consultant, we have our own indirect and direct competitors, right? And I like to win, like you, right? We played competitive sports and I like to win. So like I said earlier, when we don't win that particular client proposal, was it us? Were we too high priced? Did we not clearly articulate, what we actually do? Or is it the client? They don't have the money, the product's not ready yet, or they want to do it themselves. 'Cause most startups want to do things themselves, or launch on Amazon themselves, doing their own PR themselves,
Yes.
doing their own website by themselves. And most realize aren't that good at doing their own Amazon, their own website. And that's why they need to hire people like you and I to shorten the learning cycle, right? I mean, I did sales myself as a manufacturer, and it took me a long time. Where if it was a Retailbound back in the early '90s, I would have been much successful and in theory spent a lot less money and effort. And we've had brands that say no today, not interested, and a year later they come back, Yohan, we should listen to you. We spent a year doing this and this, and we're still in the same place. Hey, Yohan, can you help us get into retail? Sure. So yeah, but what motivates is really again helping clients be successful and helping them achieve their own entrepreneurial dreams.
Oh, that's really good. I really like that reply, because it's a real motivation. It's a real because when you already done it and you can pass it on to others, it's really satisfying. Let's say.
And we've had clients win several awards. We've had a client who won in the U.S. There's a magazine called Inc. magazine. It's an entrepreneur magazine, and every year they rank the top 500 and 5,000 fastest growing U.S. companies.
Okay.
We had a client that they had zero sales when we started them. We grew the company so fast that in 2013 and 2014, Inc. magazine recognized them as one of the fastest 500 growing companies in the U.S. Right, and we have other awards our clients have won thanks to our hard work. So
that's a really good achievement. I mean, that's amazing, really amazing. One more question.
Sure.
When you if, for example, now we're in this crisis, we have all these issues going on, and there are still startups coming out. There are still people trying things. What would be your message to them? What would be how would you motivate them? How or what should they take care of, or what should they be very attentive of?
Sure. So from my role, I talk to product brands who are interested in getting into retail, right? Because obviously retail was one of the industries that suffered a lot in 2020 thanks to COVID. People didn't want to go shop in stores, and some retailers don't have a omni-channel experience. It means they don't have mobile, they don't have web. It's strictly a brick and mortar, and the stores are closed. How to get sales, right? And I would tell brands today that, retail is still challenging, but ever changing. There are categories. Obviously, e-com has done really great, but even catalog or TV direct response has done very well. Certain categories like products that make me work from home, study
Yeah.
from home, cook at home, play at home, and work at home. Have done very well for our retailers and our clients. But I would say that for any young brand, it's interesting getting into retail in 2021, whether it's e-com like Amazon or brick and mortar like a Best Buy, right? Is make sure you're realistic
Yeah.
with your expectations. Make sure that you have the resources, especially financial resources. They're capitalized. That many retailers don't pay up front, right? There are terms, and you have the capital to get inventory. Um, and then make sure you have a good team. That where you maybe can't afford to hire employees. They maybe outsource to companies like Margin Business or Retail Bound to help manage some of these things that you don't have the time or the experience to do yourself.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because, as you said, when hiring companies like us, like ours, people take the shortcut. They don't do it on their own. They don't play around and try it for years and stuff. No, they come directly to somebody, pay the money, and that's it. The job is done, and they really get something out of it. It's how can I say, it's when people try and always on themselves, because we have in Amazon, I don't know, I have plenty sellers who trying always to do it on themselves,
Yeah.
especially 3P sellers, they even
Yep.
if up at the top, sometimes you see them even going into things which actually at that level, they should be taking care of something else, it's really important at that point to have somebody who taking care of everything, although you give them a percentage of obviously of what you're making, it don't matter, you got your hands free, as long as it works, it should be fine, and this is
Yeah. End of the day, what I always say is, what's your time worth to you, right? That's the end of the day, right? Uh, like
right.
for me, we live in a nice house here in Chicago. We have and we have cleaners that come to our house every other week to clean a house. It takes 3 or 4 hours to clean our house, from top to bottom. Now
Yeah,
I could do it myself,
for sure.
spend all day, and my wife will still complain. It's still dirty, right? Or I have the cleaners do it. Now it's like a small car payment
Yes,
I spend, and the cleaners clean our house every other week.
I
However, those 3 or 4 hours, or for me, if it take me 8 hours to clean my house, I use that time to work, spend time with my kids and my wife, work out, right? At the end of the day, is what is your time worth to you? So when we talk to entrepreneurs that say, no, I'll do it myself. Well, great. You could do it. You can spend a year doing it yourself, or in 3 months, Retailbound can get it done. What's your time worth? You want to spend a year, spend all these hours yourself, or have Retailbound or margin business do it for you? Yes, it's going to cost you, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to cost you a lot less having Retailbound do this, right? Where you can focus your time on more productive things, so they can spend their time on fundraising, run the company,
right.
developing a product line. Where Retailbound can manage their retail business. Margin business can manage their Amazon business, right? What is your time worth to you? Is what we kind of ask our brands, our potential clients who are on the fence whether to hire us or not.
Yeah, it's true because at the end we don't know how long we're going to stay on this planet, and time is super precious, I'm
Yep,
already upset that I have to sleep, but it has to be done.
that's right.
But other people, they need to value their time. They need to understand to value their time. Some
Yep.
people will never understand. Some people understand it early. Some people understand it, half. But it's super important, and I try as well to explain everyone to do it as well. the same way, and try to, like you said, it's the best example with the cleaners. It's not that we don't want to do the job of the cleaner. It's it's you know it's just it's the time is precious. We can do so many other things. We can play with the kids, we can grow the company. There are so many things, and at the same time you can help others. And it's as well something to give back to the community, because when you give money out, they help you cleaning the house, you're happy, they're happy, and you
Yep.
turn the whole money around. And this is the beauty of thing. If you do it all on your own, then most probably you ain't going to sleep anymore. So
There's
very good
only
example.
X amount of hours in a day, right? And you have to sleep, right? And take care of yourself. So yeah, so it's what's your time worth, right? And
Exactly.
and
What
again, I say six out of 10 brands that say no to us today will come back to us in a year saying, "Hey, Johan, I should listen to you. I didn't. I did myself, and I burned a bridge. I spent too much money going down the wrong path. I should have hired you back in January, then wait till December of the year to talk to you. And by that time, a year has passed. They're in the exact same spot where their competition has now, eclipsed them. Now they if they started, with us in January, they would have been here. But now that they have not used us and needed themselves, the competition is
Yeah.
here, right? So, but
So
yeah, six every 10 clients that say leaves and say no come back to us a year later saying, I should have listened to Johan and team, and where do I sign the contract?
yeah, exactly. If you don't mind, I will put a quote out of this under your name. What's your time worth?
Yeah, what's your time worth, right? What's your time worth?
Yeah, I think
You know,
it's a perfect quote. Really, I really like it. I really like it.
good. Yeah,
And
it's patent pending or trademarked, I guess. I'm seeing. I'm teasing.
yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about retailbound.com? How, I mean, a little bit deeper, how it began and where it is today, and where do you think, or where do you want to lead it? Let's say this way. Where is your, because obviously you have a plan where it should go in the next years.
Sure.
Because pretty established company, 2006 the book, 2008 the company begins, really a strong. I think we didn't see the last buzz
Yeah. So
of
so
retail.
re, so so yeah. So retail bound. When we first started officially in 2008, we were really more of a retail coach, or a retail consultant, helping really more small brands, understand about retail. But even we teach them the techniques and strategies, made them have the time or experience to actually do the work,
Okay.
right? And most consultants, they'll tell you what to do, but they won't do the work. It's up to you as the client to do the work. And I would say 2/3 of our clients are international. We have clients in 34 different countries, from Europe, Asia, Australia, and Canada, besides US. And if you're a company in Hong Kong, how do you work at Best Buy when you're between 13 to 14 hours time difference, right? You can't. You need someone locally. So that's why we decided to really become more of a retail channel marketing and sales team, find both the consulting, but also the execution of getting them into retail and managing the process. When we go to trade shows, like the Consumer Electronics Show, the Hospital Show, and explain what we do, like wow, Johan, you're like Shark Tank or
Yeah.
Dragon's Den. You actually help
Yes.
companies succeed. Yeah, I think a better analogy for us, Omar, what we actually do, we're more about retail concierge. That's why that if you came to the U.S., came to Chicago, you and your wife, and you stay at a nice hotel, and didn't know, and I wasn't around, and you said, where should we go eat? Where should we go visit? You go down the concierge desk, and they'll tell you, okay, Omar, go here, go there. At Retailbound, right, we have a vetted list of people like American consultants, like PR people,
Okay.
like retail packaging people, and so forth, right? So instead of our clients Googling the best warehouse or 3PL, we have a vetted list of 3PLs and warehouses that can stock their product domestically. So we're more of a retail concierge helping brands, up and coming brands, get ready and get placed at major retailers all across North America. At Retailbound, since I said earlier we're a retail solutions agency, we do more than just trying to get products placed in retail. We have other services We have a team in London,
Oh, no.
about 7 people, like
Oh,
here we here in North America,
okay.
do the exact same thing, getting clients retail ready for European retailers. So Germany, France, Ireland, UK, the Nordics, even a little bit of the Middle East, like Dubai, right? We have a service called Retailbound Vision, where basically we do store audits all across around the world. So if you're a Paris brand and your product placed in Walmart in say 1,000 stores, how do you know your product is actually on the shelf? You're in Paris, right? You don't know if it's actually on the shelf. It might be in the back stock room. So we have about 1.5 million associates through a crowdsourcing of labor to go to any store in North America to audit a client's product on the shelf and make sure it's set perfectly. And then finally, we have a service called Retailbound Voice, which is influencer marketing. A lot of our clients are really good at digital marketing, paid search and Facebook ads, but
Yeah.
finding influencers is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So we have a large database of influencers, like celebrities to market influencers that can do a unboxing video, put it on YouTube or Instagram, and then drive traffic to their Amazon listing, their Best Buy listing, their Costco listing. So we offer about 5 different platforms for up and coming brands to drive sales in retail.
Well, that's a pretty big plateau of what Retailbound actually is doing.
I used to have hair back until, if you see my LinkedIn picture, I had hair in 2008. Now it's all gone. So
Because it's it's pretty, it's you got a big service. I mean, it's you have to
in
overview all of this.
Retailbound,
You have to
we started really one service when we back in 2008, and we've morphed into 5 services. Over the years, we've experimented with other services. Um, we are looking. You know, the question is, what's the future look like? We'll probably have a venture arm, like a Shark Tank,
ah,
called Retailbound Ventures.
okay,
You know,
that's
you know,
perfect.
name, trademark, or pending, I guess. We'll have another service called Retailbound Academy, more of like a school to educate people about retail. But that's down the road. But and we'll probably open up Retailbound Asia, helping clients expand in, with Asian retail, because it's like Europe. I don't care if it's Singapore, I don't care if it's Tokyo, I don't care if it's Hong Kong. Um, the Asian retailers, you guys know, it's different. It's like Europe. U.S. is usually the reason why many brands globally choose U.S. first, because it's one box packaging, one a handful of certifications, very little taxation, versus in Europe and Asia you got multiple countries, multiple taxations, multiple languages, right? So yeah, but we are looking at adding other services
Okay.
down the road.
So as well, because you mentioned Asia, obviously, in the direction I want a little bit point out in the direction, because it's the market, the Asian markets, especially. I don't talk about the Chinese market; it is a market for itself, but I mean the Southeast Asian market.
Yep.
It's it's a hungry animal, I would say. It's very big, and it will grow very, very large within the next years. And people should, like, you already have the plan. People should really go into that direction, because there is really it's amazing. What the potential they have. If you look at Kuala Lumpur, if you look at Singapore, the potential these cities alone have, let alone the money.
Yep.
What can the buying capabilities they have is another level when you look at Europe, or I would not say the US. Let the US out in their own game, because there's another playground on their own. But if you look at Europe and compare Asia, then Asia obviously is a very, very big player.
Yeah, we work with many different Hong Kong and Singaporean brands. In fact, Retailbound is an official mentor to Singapore government. So any Singapore brand that wants Retailbound to help them with retail in U.S., the Singapore government will actually pay our fees, right? Hong Kong, we've done some work with many Hong Kong accelerators as well. So, I mean, people have asked, "Hey, listen, I'm thanks, so glad you're helping us get into U.S. retail, but we need help with retail in our own neighborhood here in Singapore, or the Philippines, or wherever." So we are looking, but Right now, U.S. is still and Canada is still our number one priority, with Europe number two. But hopefully, Retailbound Asia is something we'll probably launch, in the near future.
Well, that's some good plans for the future, and I guess this is as well answer to my question: what's going to happen in the next 5 years? And this is exactly what I wanted to hear actually, because the outbound into the new markets is super important. It's not being said. It's not saying that U.S. is don't work anymore, but
Yep.
going out there, trying new things is really being innovative and being really moving all the time. I think it's
Yeah,
very
as an
healthy for
entrepreneur,
everybody.
you gotta make you gotta take a risk, right?
Exactly.
Using a baseball term, unless I swing at the ball, you know, I won't get on base, right? Yeah, I may strike out, right? And so has it been perfect all 12 years? No, of course not. The biggest flop for us, is we thought maybe we should license our brand, right, to expand internationally in Europe and Asia and other countries, maybe like McDonald's or Subway. We license our brand because Retailbound, we are a consultant. We have our own methodologies, our own processes, and we spent a lot of money, nearly six figures, in licensing our brand, Retailbound, and you'd be a licensed Retailbound coach, living in Singapore
Yeah,
or Hong Kong or Tel Aviv or Paris.
everyone in the world.
And after about a year, we pulled the plug. It was a lot of money, right? And it hurts as an entrepreneur. It's technically your money, right? You're investing, spent almost $100,000 and realized it didn't work. But in Retailbound, like employees, our philosophy is hire slow and fire fast. That's been our philosophy in hiring people to work for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if it's not working, this bigger strategy of licensing our brand, to entrepreneurs who live anywhere in the world, let's pull out, right? So after about a year and spend nearly $100,000, we pulled out. It wasn't the right time, there wasn't the right fit, or there wasn't the right strategy. So we've had a couple of snafus, but as earlier, we've continued to grow double digit for the last 12 years. So we do have room to experiment, I guess.
Yeah.
And if it fails, all right, you learn, and okay, what can we do different next time?
Yeah, that's already, yeah, everything is said, because when you can still, if you still can experiment with something, like you said, you hire, you fire, you try something out. There have been things in the past which have been replicated, which worked. I mean, it's really good. I mean, retailbound.com. I
Yep,
bought it.
retailbound.com is our URL, and looking forward to helping any young brands that are looking to get into retail in North America or in Europe.
Yeah, it's amazing. Really. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all this, because we are always searching what is going on in the life of an entrepreneur, and you exactly
Sure,
fitted this, this is what we were searching for, and
cool.
obviously out of your family, out of your childhood, and then the stories of the newspaper, everything. If you wrap everything up at the end, you have already your pattern up to success. It's a perfect beginning.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the time you spent with me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate a lot that you took the time today as well. Hopefully we can do this again, meet in person, once this Corona is over, we can
Yep.
fly again. At the moment, we're as well a little bit stuck, but it's all good.
We'll get there. I have a lot of international trips planned once COVID goes away because, like I said, we have a lot of clients all around the world, right? From Singapore to Hong Kong to Europe to even Canada. So I'm looking even Australia, Melbourne. So yeah, I'm looking forward to do some traveling. But yeah, unfortunately, our hands are locked. That's okay. We're gonna be
Yeah.
safe and sorry. Thank God for Zoom and other electronic media. But I look forward to hopefully meeting you in the very near future. All right.
Thank you so much for your time today, Johan. Speak to you
Okay, my
later.
friend. Cheers.
Bye.